Hi there YouTube, NumberHunter91 here. First off, a big apology for the lack of sound in some of the previous Yu-Gi-Oh videos. I do apologise for that. I've been having fun and games with my setups. I'm still trying to work that out at the moment. I'm currently using my phone for this particular video, as I'll be doing some stuff on my phone, some on a camcorder if I can get it working, and some on my laptop. So there will be varying quality to the videos, I'm afraid, but I'm doing the best that I can at the moment. As in, when I can get a better quality gear, then obviously the quality of the videos will improve as well. Today I'm going to be bringing you my Dracoslayer deck profile. Sorry, not Dracopal deck profile, should I say? Which is a deck that I've not used for some time. But it's all complete. It's still up to the current ban list, which at the moment is October 2016, I believe. I've got to double check that. Apologies. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. So we'll start with the main deck. Start off with the Dracoslayer / Overlord engine. So we have 1 Luster, 3 Master. For the Dracoslayers. For the Overlords we have 2 Vector and 1 Lector. Ooh, apologies for the glare, that would be the light on my phone. I run it at this for a few reasons. The first 2 are for 2 of the spells that I have, which are Draconnection and Draco Face-Off, which I'll come to later. Also with Lector, I only run it at the 1 because there's not as many Pendulum decks out there now, but there are still some out there, so it can help to combat it. We then have, for the Performapal engine, we have 3 Pendulum Sorcerer, just because it needs it, to help with the consistency of the deck more than anything else. 2 Performapal Silverclaws, really helpful for OTKs. Then we have 1 Performapal Skullcrobat Joker, which is obviously your main searcher. I run 1 non-Pendulum Performapal, which is Secondonkey, just to help, along with Skullcrobat Joker, to help search out Performapals. And then a little bit of a draw engine Performapal wise is 2 Lizardraw and a Guitartle. Was originally playing this at 2, but dropped it down to 1 to put in another card, which I'll come to in a moment. So that's it for the Performapal side of it. Continuing with the main Pendulums, we have 3 Guiding Ariadnes, really useful with Luster, to get off its search effect, for the counter traps. Also, if it's in the Pendulum zone, you don't pay any cost for those counter traps, whether it be life points or discarding cards, so it's just really handy. And 2 Archfiend Eccentrics to help with back row and targetable monster destruction. So on to the last few monsters. We have 1 Masked Chameleon, just to open up another synchro play other than Ignista. 2 Maxx's, you just need to draw power. So many decks still special summon, so it's always handy. And unfortunately you can only run it at 2. Thanks Konami, didn't like that idea. And then 2 Gem-Knight Lazuli. I dropped 1 of the Guitartles for this, because when I was only running 1 of it, I kept drawing it, which is, as anybody knows that runs the Brilliant Fusion engine in a deck, is not nice at all. So on to the spells. We have 3 Brilliant Fusions. I am looking at changing 1 of these to a Gem-Knight Fusion, just in case I do draw into a Lazuli, so that if Lazuli is in hand, I can still bring out Seraphonite with it. not much more needs to be said there. 2 MSTs. Admittedly, I'm not keen on these being gold, but they're ghost. I was going with it. Again, standard back row. I go for these over Twin Twisters because you don't really want to discard anything in this deck to the grave. There's times when you might have a spare Brilliant Fusion that you can ditch, or if you haven't got life points you can ditch one of your counter traps if you cost too much. But to be honest, I'd prefer MST over Twin Twister in this deck. Then for the one-offs on the spells, we have 1 Draco Face-Off, 1 Draconnection, which can search out any of the Dracoslayers or Overlords. A little bit off topic, but I would also recommend people that are playing Blue Eyes White Dragon decks to look at playing this to help with getting the cards that they need because of its effect. For those of you that don't know what it does, I'll try and do this without it being in the light if I can. No, unfortunately that's not going to work, is it? Apologies. I'll read the card effect out. It reveals 1 dragon type monster in your hand, add 1 dragon type monster with the same level from your deck to your hand, and then shuffle the reveal monster back into the deck. I have checked this, but I do believe it does mean that even if I have a master already in hand, and I know I've got another master in deck, I can reveal 1 master, add the other master back into my hand, and shuffle the first master back. But I'd need to get that one double checked. So if any of you can update us in the comment section, be helpful. And then 1 Raigeki just to help with board clearance. So that's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we have 5 of them in total, which are the Solemn Brigade. So we have 3 Solemn Strikes, a Solemn Warning, and a Solemn Scolding. I was originally playing Chaos Trap Hole, which I might change back to instead of the Scolding, just in case, because I do have a tendency to draw into more than one of these in my opening hand. And with Guiding Ariadne in the Pendulum Zone, it doesn't matter what the costs of them are. I just find that Solemn Scolding is really helpful because it can stop the strikes and warnings of your opponent. So that's it for the main deck. We'll go on to the extra deck next. One moment, I'll get to it in a second. So yeah, onto the extra deck. It's a little bit tight for space. I am looking at changing possibly one or two of the cards in here, just to help update it with more of what's going on in the current meta. But we have, to start with, we have 2 Majester Paladin, the Ascending Dracoslayer. Brilliant search card, helps increase your board presence. Not much more I can really say about it. 2 Abyss Dweller to go up against the graveyard effect heavy decks. 1 Emeral helps shuffle cards back, especially like Ignister, where with it only being at 1. 1 Diamond Direwolf and 1 Castel. I'm debating whether or not to take the Castel out, in all honesty, for a 106 giant hand, just as a better opening play, if needed. But at the moment I'm going to stick with the Castel Diamond Direwolf combo within the deck. 1 King of the Feral Imps, search out Masked Chameleon, search out the Lizardraws if you need to. Admittedly, I do very rarely go into it if I can help it, but I will use it if I have to. So that's it for the rank 4s. I run 2 rank 8 XEs, excuse me, pardon me, which are Harbringer Dragon Titanic Galaxy, and number 46, Dragulon. Number 46, I've only recently put into this deck, with Blue Eyes having become a thing. The only downside to it is you have to control no other monsters for its effects to be usable. But it does come in handy, the fact that if you can target one of your opponent's dragons, you can take control of it, or they can't activate their effects until the end of your opponent's turn, so it is handy against them. Titanic Galaxy, on the other hand, is brilliant to help stop cards like Raigeki, or any other spell cards that you really don't want them to activate. I haven't tested it yet against ABCs to see how well it'd work against cards like Union Hanger, because as I said, I haven't played this deck for some time. I am looking at doing some duel videos on Why Go Pro with this deck soon, so hopefully I can get them up on YouTube as well for you, and hopefully I can get this up against an ABC deck to try and test this out. So that's it for the rank 8s. We have 2 level 8 synchros, which are Enlightenment Paladin and Ignister. Enlightenment Paladin, I've only got it in there because unfortunately I don't have a Cyframe Lord Omega, which I'd much rather run. But I chose this one purely for its last effect. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. So it has its uses, and for me makes a decent-ish substitute for Omega. And then onto the fusions, I have 1 Gem-Knight Seraphonite, which, worst case scenario, I can always shuffle back with the Emeral to help make Brilliant Fusion live again, and 2 Dynasty Power, the Mighty Dracoslayers. Again, just to help me go into my rank 8s. For those of you that do know your numbers, Dragulon does require 2 level 8 dragons, which is handy because Ignister and the 2 Dynasties are all dragons, both dragons should I say, so it's easy overlay into this and carry on. But yeah, it's a decent little deck, so that's the extra deck for you. We'll go into the side deck now. I'm going to start off with 2 cards that are my personal choice, and you don't have to use these ones. You can obviously edit the side deck to your own preference, and to what you see more often, so to speak. But I run 1 Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode and 1 Winged Dragon of Ra itself. Within this deck I haven't really been able to test it too well, having not played it for a while, but in one of my other decks it's working quite nicely at the moment. The only thing with Sphere Mode, it requires all 3 monsters for its tribute summon to be on one side of the field or the other. You can't mix and match, as I call it. So you can't have 2 on their side, 1 on yours. You've got to have all 3 on theirs or all 3 on yours for Sphere Mode. But when it does come back to you, you can tribute it off to bring Dragon and Ra out at a 4000 beat stick, which is always handy. I then run 2 Gamma Shield to get over any problem card monsters that I can't deal with. ABC Busted Dragon, for instance, being one of the most pronounced cards at the moment. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a wind at the moment, I do apologise. I then run 2 Denko Sekus. I know what you're probably thinking, hold on, he's siding Denko Sekus and he's got 5 traps. I do only have the 5 traps. I'd normally side a few of them out, to be honest, when I side these in, just so I don't have that conflict. But other times I'll side these 2 in and I might summon this and then still set them, and people are going to go, huh? Or it will just throw them off the track a little bit with regards to whether or not I'm still running my traps. This is handy, admittedly, if I'm going second with this deck. I normally normal summon this out to try and bait out the Solemn Warning, because once it is on the field they can't activate it, and they can't activate strikes, which means I can then go off with the rest of my pendulums and do what I need to do. I run 2 Alea Justice Cycle Readers. You can, if you want to notch the budget down a little bit, drop to DD Crows that have almost the exact same effect. DD Crow only allows you to banish 1 card, but these allow you to banish 2 light monsters from your opponent's graveyard. And then for the last 2 monsters, I run 2 Flying Sea for the XE heavy matchups. I side 2 spells, which are System Downs. Excuse me. When I last played this deck, Cosmos was still quite a big thing at the time, especially with Demise Cosmo being a big thing. It's also really handy now against ABCs. It's not really a budget card, this one. It can be expensive, but if you can get hold of System Downs, then I would advise it, especially with ABCs being all machine types. And then I run 3 traps in my side deck, which are 2 Imperial Iron Wall and 1 Soul Drain. The reason I put in the Soul Drain is to go against decks like PK Fire, BA, Cosmos as well at the time. For the stop the big ships bringing out the pilots, mermails, all the decks that basically rely heavily on their graveyard. So yeah, that's it for that deck profile. And again, I do apologise for the quality of the videos. I've not had the best of luck with my new setup, and getting it up and running properly. I'm still working on it, so I'm hoping to improve the quality of these videos soon. I'm also going to be looking into doing some more deck profiles in the near future. My next one that I'm hoping to do will be my Performapal Odd-Eyes deck, which will be uploaded hopefully on or very shortly after the 18th of this month. I've also got in the pipelines a Yusenju Kaiju deck, a traditional format Light Swarms, which was a really funny deck when I last played that in a traditional format tournament, which I'll come to when I do upload that deck. Ignites, I'm currently looking at a new build on that one, so when I've tested that, I'll quite happily upload that. Dynamist I'm updating. I've looked into a Resonator build but can't get it consistent enough, so that won't be getting uploaded at the moment, but if I can get a consistent enough build, it will be. I'm also going to be looking at doing some card discussions, and some product reviews, and looking forward to the products we've got coming out over the next 3-4 months. At the moment I've only got up until the end of March written down, because unfortunately that's all the Yu-Gi-Oh website allows me to be able to see, but we have some in here. So we have a new structure deck coming out in January. We've got a gold edition version of the Dark Side of Dimensions movie pack. We've got Fusion Enforcers, which is quite a big hype at the moment. Raging Tempest, you got that coming out. You've got the special edition of the Raging Tempest coming out, Duelist Saga, and we've just had the Invasion Vengeance special editions released. So I'm going to look into hopefully picking up some of the special editions and doing some pack openings on that for you. If I can't do on that one, I'm going to still look at getting some packs to hopefully do some openings, because I do enjoy the openings, although I've not done any yet on this channel. I've done a few with some of my mates and they're really good fun, so I'm going to look at hoping to get them done as soon as possible. But yeah, out of the ones that I've listed, if there's any that you're really interested in, comment down below, let us know, and I will do my absolute utmost to do as much research on them as I can. We've got another star pack coming out at about mid-March, which will be interesting to see. I'm not going to lie, it'll be interesting to see what they put in that one. So yeah, there's a few on this list that I'm definitely going to be looking at in greater detail in future videos, because they really interest me. I like my Pendulums, for instance, and the next structure deck, which is on the 5th of January next year, 2017 that is Pendulum Domination. So I'm going to be looking really into that one at the moment, to see what's already been leaked, so to speak, on that one, see what I can dig up and bring out in the video for that, as well as the others. But yeah, if you've got any ideas of other videos that you'd like to see on this channel, please feel free to comment down below. Also, don't forget to put a big thumbs up on here, and please subscribe to my channel. I do these videos for absolute fun. I don't do it to earn money at all. The money doesn't bother me, in all honesty. I do it for the fun. I love the game. For those of you that have seen the rest of my channel, I do Pokemon gameplay videos, although I haven't done them for a while. But I'm going to be getting back into that. I've managed to get the emulators onto my laptop, so I'm not having to fiddle around with the actual consoles, but I'll be doing some more plays on them. But yeah, I'm going to be doing more deck profiles, pack and box openings if I can, card discussions. I'm going to look into deck discussions if you want. Dual videos I'm going to look into as well, if I can get them to record properly on me setup. I'm going to try and look into future archetypes, see what I can find out about them, see if there's any possibility of me trying to do some YGO Pro stuff with them if possible. I'm also going to look to see if, when I can get to any events, if I can do some vlogs at them events. I'm also going to look at ban lists, ban list predictions, ban list reactions, as and when obviously the new ban list gets announced, that is, as we're not too sure when. But yeah, anything that you want to see on this channel, please like, comment and subscribe down below. I'll put the full deck list into the description as well, just to make it easier, because I know I have rambled a bit on this video. But yeah, please feel free to give it a like, comment and subscribe down below. As I said earlier, I don't do this for the money, I do it purely for the fun, and I enjoy the game, and I hope you do too. Number Hunter91 signing out.